In this video, I want to talk about how training in this game versus breeding works. So if you don't know, in Pokemon games, generally breeding Pokemon is usually the best and easiest way to get to, the best type of setup for a Pokemon that you can get, because usually the other way is very, very difficult. This is the first game I've played, since Sword and Shield at least, where it is actually way easier to just train a Pokemon, and it's even faster too, because trying to breed the perfect Pokemon is going to take you a bit of time, whereas you can train it in probably a few minutes. And I'm going to do that in this video. Alright, so we're going to do this to a Pokemon called Glamora over here, right? It's going to join my party of 3, so Dragapult, Goldengo, and Glamora are my Pokemon that I want to use in a ranked battle, for example. Spiritomb is here for another reason, but we'll get into that. So this Glamora is only level 57, and if we go and check its summary over here, you can actually see that it's not great, I'll actually go into the boxes here to show you more detail. You can tell it only has one best IV, and that is in speed, and its nature is bold, which is not something I really want because it's an increase in defense and a decrease in attack. Though I don't really care about the attack, I don't want the increase in defense. So I'm going to turn this Pokemon into a battle ready for combat kind of Pokemon. And to do that, I'm going to first level it up to maximum, and we can do this with, obviously, XP candies, which we usually have a ton of because of, Terra raid battles, as well as, just doing the Ace tournament over and over, can bring you rare candies and sometimes XP candies. Obviously, Terra raid battles are a lot more convenient to do. And there we go, Glamora is now level 100. It took us a few seconds. Obviously, this does require you to have a bunch of candy saved up, but if your Pokemon is already over level 50, it is already ready for competitive fighting because it just needs to be over level 50 to go into competitive. Now our next step here is to look at its moves. Now it currently has 3 moves on here: Stealth Rock, Sludge Wave, Mud Shot, and the final move I want to add is Memento. Now Memento is an egg move, and because it's an egg move, we're going to take it from this Spiritomb over here that has Memento as a move over there. So we're going to take this Memento and we're going to put it onto our Glamora. But before I do that, I do want to talk about Mud Shot. Now, Mud Shot is not a default move here that you can use remember moves. You do have to use TMs to learn the move or teach it the move Mud Shot. And obviously you can craft TMs through this entire game from this green machine at all the Poke Centers. So just go there, see what you need, and go craft it and add it onto your Glamora. But first, we're going to go ahead and we're going to give this Glamora an item to hold, and this is going to allow us to pass on the move Memento, right? So this item that we're going to hold is called a Mirror Herb, okay? So it's this item over here. It's going to hold this one over here. Now, Glamora, because Glamora wants the move, it's going to have to be the one holding the item, right? In case you are wondering where to get this item from, it is a battle item that you can find at Cascarifa, which is at this Delibird present store, which is also where you'll find throughout the game, you can find different battle items entirely. So this one here is where you'll get the Mirror Herb in particular. Now, in order to pass on the move, we just need to go ahead and make a picnic. Now, before we make the picnic, we just have to take our Pokemon out here that we don't want in this picnic in case it steals a move from one of these two, and then that's going to be quite frustrating. So we just have Glamora and Spiritomb. We're going to make a picnic, and honestly, we just have to wait for this to go out. Wait for the Pokemon to go out. Boom, 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 and honestly, it should be done. It's generally that quick, from my experience. Let's go to Glamora, check summary. Go to its moves. There we go. Memento is right there. You literally only have to be in the picnic for a second for the Pokemon to roam around and the move goes across. It's super quick. There's no time involved. Okay, cool. So we got our final move. Now we're done with that. Okay, so while we're looking at its summary, right, we're going to go ahead to the stat screen here and we're going to look at its ability. We have the ability Toxic Debris. That is the ability we want. If it's not the ability you want, you need to check if you need the hidden ability or another ability of just like normal kind. If it is a hidden ability, you need to consume an item called an ability patch, which will swap its ability for a hidden ability that it has. If it's not a hidden ability and you just want one of the other normal abilities, you can swap with the ability capsule, which will just switch it between those two. However, ability capsule does not allow you to have the hidden ability selected, so it just swaps it between 2 normal abilities. Now, since we have the perfect ability that we want for this Toxic Debris, I'm completely happy. If we go into its nature over here, it's got the bold nature. I don't want the bold nature. The bold nature, as we talked about, has the increase in defense and the decrease in attack. We want the timid nature. So to do this, we're just going to go into our bags and we're going to go to the candy icon and we're going to go to a timid mint. Now this one is going to force its speed to grow stronger, so it's going to become a lot faster, but its attack is going to suffer. Now, since we don't use attack, we use special attack, this doesn't matter. So we're going to go ahead and use this item on Glamora over here. There we go, the stats have changed. Now, if I go into Glamora over here, it is important to note that this screen over here will still say it is bold by nature. So it doesn't tell you the nature has actually changed, but if you go to the stats here, you'll notice the arrows have changed. We now have an increase by the red arrow for speed and a decrease for attack instead of that increase for defense. So that's how you know you've changed the nature correctly. And now we can go ahead and put this item away. Okay, so let's do the IV training and then the EV training. So for IVs, we can see here, we only have a one best IV and it's in speed. We're going to IV train the other ones. We only need defense, special attack, and HP. We don't need to do attack, but you can if you want. Bottle caps are really easy to get, and you can buy them at the Delibird present store, I believe. So after you have enough bottle caps, we are going to go to the ghost type gym area here in the snow region at Montenevra, and we're going to fly there. Once you're here at the Poke Center, just run behind it here. This is where you're going to hyper train those other stats. This will require bottle caps. So we're going to select Glamora, and then you can pick, if you do a gold one, it's going to make all of them best. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to use bottle caps because I have enough of each. So we're going to do HP, defense, special attack, and special defense. We don't need to do normal attack. And there we go. We have hyper trained the Pokemon. So now all of those other IVs will be much better. In fact, as you can see here, it says Hyper Trained. Now, if you didn't know, Hyper Trained and Best are basically the same level. They basically add 31 points into each of those stats, provided your Pokemon's level 100. If your Pokemon's lower level, the IV's 31 gets divided by the level of your Pokemon. But just in a sense, it basically adds 31 points into each stat if your Pokemon's level 100. But in ranked play, your Pokemon is level 50, so it only goes up by 15 points, I believe, for each stat. That is hyper trained or best. All right, so now that we have IV trained, we are going to EV train. Now, I have made a video on EV training the hard way with power items, but if you have money in this game, which at this point, if you have been using my money farm method, the AFK one, you can see here, we have a lot of money, like 9.3 million. I just spent like 600K earlier. It was a no-brainer. So I'm going to boost this up nice and quickly. We're going to EV train this Glamora, and I'm going to show you how to do that, right? So we're here at the same town, and we're going to go to the store here called Chansey Supply. It can be found in various areas, and this is what it's called. Not that one. This one. Chansey Supply. That's what it's called. That's where you can find it here in Montenevra. We're going to go inside this building. Here we're going to like to buy, and from here you can buy the right ones you need. So what we want to do is fully EV train our special attack, our speed, and put like one extra point into defense, which is just 4 EVs for that. So for special attack, we need to buy calciums here. I already have a bunch in my inventory, so we're sorted there. And then for speed, we need carbos. I am going to need some more over here, with at least about that much. So we'll just buy that much. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, cool. So that's where you get those in case you do have the money to spend and grind. If you do want to do it the hard way, check my video description for a video on how to EV train. Now, one thing you should know is that your Pokemon should be caught and not be used in battle already. So when we go to the stats thing here and we press L, you should see that yellow little hexagon in the middle should not have been skewed to any of the different stats over here. What we're going to do is skew it towards speed and special attack, which is going to increase those by 63 points. It's going to give 63 points into speed and 63 points into special attack, which is a huge increase. So from our bag, we're going to go to the rare candy little icon over there, and we're going to go ahead and add Carbos, add it to Glamora over here. Now, you can do 26, which adds 260 EVs, but we only need 252. So ideally, if you want to save it and save a little bit of money, you can do 25, right? So 25. And then if you go to the feathers here, there is a fast feather, and you can end up using another 2 of these. You will see here, it will only limit you to being able to use 2 because 252 is the maximum. So go ahead and use that. Now we're going to go up and we're going to add the special attack here for the calcium. So special attack on there. Again, we're going to do 25. And we're going to go to the Genius Feather, and we're going to add the final 2. You'll see it will not go more than 2 because that is the maximum. So now we have 252 in special attack, 252 in speed. That means we have 63 extra stats in speed and special attack. Right, for the final ones, we're going to add it into defense over here. So let's go ahead, Resist Feather. Honestly, you can use 6, but remember, every 4 EVs adds a single stat. So actually having 6 does nothing. It's pointless, right? This will add the stat. This will also add the stat, but won't add an extra one. So 4 equals 6. So just add as many as you want, right? It's no big deal. All right, so if you go to your Glamora now, it should be fully IV trained and EV trained. And we go ahead and we press L. You can see here, Sparkles on speed, Sparkles on special attack. It is now, it's basically done. We just have to give it an item to hold, and we are ready to take it into battle. So give it an item to hold here, and we're going to obviously get this from the Daily Bird presence stores around the world from the battle items, and we're going to give this one here a focus sash. It's this item over here, so it's going to basically leave it with 1 HP instead of dying. There we go. Now it's ready for ranked play, and that was actually quite easy and quite fast. If you had to breed this Pokemon, you'd probably still be running around hatching eggs at this point, because it does take over a minute to hatch eggs, and you also got to make a sandwich and all that bullshit to just get the Pokemon ready. I hope you guys find this guide helpful, or this video interesting, I guess, because it's not really a guide, even though I kind of presented it as one. It's more to say that training Pokemon in this game is way easier than trying to breed it to be perfect from scratch, because you have all the tools in front of you to do it in literal minutes with any Pokemon you want, as long as you've caught it and never used it in battle before. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.